Probably 99% of the clients that I worked with, I would say, try a gluten-free diet for 3 weeks, then reintroduce gluten. If you find that you feel the same, then continue how you're eating. But if you find that you feel better, well, take it out. And so most of them felt better in so many different ways. And so I really felt like it was my responsibility in creating products that were free of that ingredient.
I just was really affected by how important food and nutrition is to our health and well-being, for more than just for our energy level, just kind of really treating the body as a machine that needs energy and needs like real ingredients or what it can break down. And so that's was the premise for Sweet Loren's, was trying to create a food company that was based on treats that you could feel good about feeding you, yourself, your family.
So my mom, she had a sweet tooth, and couldn't find anything in the stores. She'd go read an ingredient list at Whole Foods, and they always seemed to ruin it with one ingredient, and be like, why did they put that in there? They could have had it without that ingredient, it would have been just as good. So she started to make cookies for herself, and my husband was like, one day after school, he's like, these are so good, you should sell them. So I wrapped them in saran wrap, and I actually went to, it's a funny story, I went to the local health food store after school one day. I made my own labels at home, called them macro treats. I had no idea if what I was doing was legal or not. I didn't even think. I didn't even think about it.
Forgiveness later.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Obviously, it was not. Later, I found out.
But I really was yearning to do something more for myself, for my kids, for my family, for the community at large. And so I started looking into food because I love food. I wanted to buy an existing brand, but I started thinking I don't want to do food delivery. And so I started thinking about Justin's Peanut Butter. I don't know if you've heard of Justin's Peanut Butter. So I thought I want to make one thing and several variations of that thing. And then I thought of ghee because my mom is into Ayurveda. She's a registered dietitian. I grew up with ghee in my family. She was actually macrobiotic for a very long time. So it just kind of came natural to me to make it, and I love it, and I feel like the passion to love the product that you sell is very important.
And I started reading labels much later in life, and I started making these things for my kids. They're like healthy candy bars, really, because I started reading labels, and I didn't like what I was reading. I wanted to understand what I was reading, and I couldn't. I found about ingredients, and
I met Hoda Kotb from, on the Today Show. She's amazing. A couple years ago when I was starting, and she's also a cancer survivor, and she's just a really great woman. And she, like the most important piece of advice, like I think I've received in the last couple years, she was like, Lauren, this is what you just have to tell yourself. You don't scare me. It's fear that holds us back, and it's the people that just go forward and figure it out along the way that get somewhere over time. And you can't rush. You can't rush this like knowledge of the industries and kind of each of our products, and just trying to figure it out along the way. I mean, I think it's just a great lesson and motto for life. So, yeah. I think it was just super powerful. It was so simple, but just not letting fear, not like, looking fear in the face and just being like, I'm going to get through it.
One of my teachers at nutrition school had a saying of feel the fear and do it anyway. And I'm at a point right now where I'm saying it over and over my mind and reminding myself like what I did in the beginning and trying to remember that again now. So I think it's a very positive thing.
I think my best piece of advice came from my mom, just at the beginning when we were always there for each other. So if one of us had a down day, I had the up day to say, no, we can do this. But I would always say to her, like, how are we going to do this? Like, this is so overwhelming. And her advice was, let's just be real. Just be real. Be authentic. If you don't know the answer, if you're in a store trying to sell, if you're talking to a buyer, if you're talking to a customer, if you're talking to a consumer, just be real, be authentic, and people forgive you for that, and they like you all the more.
it's a lot of work. It's I'm consumed by it a lot. I think about it when I go to sleep, when I wake up, when I'm just constantly. So,
finding that balance is something I struggle with every day. I still do. I think that just constantly being aware of that struggle helps me, and trying really hard to turn off work when I'm with the kids, and when I'm at work, not feeling guilty, to say, I'm not going to feel guilty, now's my time for work, and when I'm with the kids, I'm not going to feel guilty about my commitments with Go Macro because I'm with the kids. But definitely one thing about building the team that's really important is finding people who are in it for the same reasons you are, people who love the product, who live the life. It's really important because that's how you keep that authenticity with your brand.
Just a constant reminder is listening to staying true to yourself and listening to your gut and feeling like what you're doing is aligned with what you feel passionate about.
Creating a product that makes the world better, adds value to it, and I would say giving myself a platform to really grow into, as CEO, an individual, someone following their dreams. So I'm just super passionate about being an entrepreneur, and if you're entrepreneurial, following your dreams and finding that platform to discover like who you are and to keep pushing the bar higher and higher.